That's right, Buster Blader shakes things up out here, and we also have Tenpai Gas Gas Gas. There are Tenpai Dragons, there will be Buster Blader. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So we had the Greece Open, or this is just a glorified regional at this point. We're going to continue to call them regionals. So the regional in Greece over the weekend actually was a pretty interesting spectacle out here, with Tenpai Dragons smashing down the event, going 9-0. But where there is Tenpai, there will be Buster Blader. Buster Blader found itself out of this event being, I personally think, one of the underdog decks in the room. The fact that you could actually see Buster Blader out here doing little dragon shenanigans, and if you're expecting a heavy Tenpai Dragon, matchup, Buster Blader, even Buster Blader Tenpai, I know that's a freaking little interesting idea there. You can actually do something like that. There are all sorts of little ideas that you can kind of incorporate with Buster Blader out here to actually try things out for an event. Okay, now your most represented deck in the room was actually Snake Eyes for your top 8 cut. Am I surprised about that? Honestly, no. This is a pretty common occurrence out here in most regions where Snake Eyes has been taking, a decent amount of top cut, but it's not like it's an inherently terrible matchup for a majority of these decks, and that's the good thing that I want to see. We also had, of course, one branded duelist kind of stepping into the arena out here, which, at this point in time, I'm just kind of happy to see that we're getting more branded players still doing the thing. We also had Rescue Ace. That's, I really wish we could have seen what the Rescue Ace list was. We don't actually have that. We also had a Flaunderies list out of the top cut for this event, which we also don't have out here. I mean, overall, looking at the top cut for this event, this is pretty diverse. You have so many different things available to you in the top cut for this event. Genuinely, it's kind of interesting. Let's pass on over to those deck lists. All right, so winning our event here is the Tenpai Special. Now, the first things I am going to mention here, we are playing the one Magna Hut. I do need to test this out, honestly. Being able to toggle for any dragon in your deck is actually pretty absurd, and especially, you can end phase this going on into your turn to get you that advantage tree. Definitely needs to be considered. Still sticking to the 2 Fadra, absolutely. Now, there's this card. Crossout Designator. I have not considered playing Crossout Designator in this just yet. It is on my list of things to do, but considering the fact that so many hand traps just ruin your day right now, actually having Crossout to stop those might actually be worth exploring. Also, the value you get for this in the mirror is actually kind of insane. Being able to blank out a Sengen Kaiman so your opponent can't actually use it is actually pretty good to consider. As build's also playing a rivalry in the main, I can actually get behind this. So, we're not playing Necro Valley, we're not doing the set rotation, things like that. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Now, down here in the extra deck, you're still doing the standard 4-card line for the OTK. In terms of tech choices, we are doing the Time Lord Progenitor in here. This is to clean up those little pesky, stupid Ubel cards that are an annoyance. You have the Meteor Burst to clean up more trouble cards, and of course, you have the Curry Belt in here as well, which, Curry Build actually does some pretty interesting things for this. Onsen Girl, pop a card on the field, and then if this goes by target a face-up monster on the field, can't attack. There is some application there. And then your side deck is all just gas, gas, gas. Once again, you do see the Heat Wave. I was hearing people talking about the Heat Wave might not be the best card for Tenpai right now, but it's like, honestly, it's pretty good. And you also do see another deck playing D-Barrier. I see that we've gotten to this point. Now we're kind of relying on all of this good stuff here so we can do our thing. But that is your undefeated Tenpai Special. Honestly, this deck might be the way to go for the build. Oh boy. Speaking of Crossout Designators, we have another deck in the room that we've gotten to the point that we're just going to start rolling out hand traps. I guess seeing Crossout be present is just another result of, 3, 6, 8, 10, 11, 14. You know, it's 14 hand traps. You want to toss another 3 down here? Potentially 17 hand traps being played in the course of the meta. So I don't blame people for looking at Crossout right now as a card. As we kind of head into these formats where, you know, it's a lot of 1-card packages for sure, you have to rely on this card to get you into get you out of those really stupid situations. So yeah, I understand this. Your Snake Eyes package is actually incredibly basic in here. You do have the double Flamberge, the double Pobbler. That's not going to change. You do have 1 Thrust, 1 Talents, which this is pretty A-okay. I don't have anything to say about that. The fact that we do have the additional Ogre down here. You do see the Nibia Woos. Most of the side deck stuff down here is pretty good. This is also interesting. Because we do have the Thrust down here in the side, we're only playing the 1-dimensional barrier, so you can kind of toggle on into this. And they actually opted for 2 copies of Skill Drain, which a little bit iffy on the choice of 2 of that, but sure. Outside of that, I mean, this looks pretty standard. Once again, when I say these decks are standard, I mean, your ratios are pretty solved. We've mentioned the only real things that matter here. You can talk about maybe the Jet Synchron might be a little bit spicy, but I mean, that's just going to get you into a formula of like a Snake Eyes or something along the way. You're playing this just so you can cross it out so you don't randomly lose to Nibiru. That's just how the meta is right now. And I really wish that I could be more exciting and talk about that, but, you know, for the things that are pushing around and things that are getting a little bit more exciting, that's just the state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, 50 cards! 50 big ones, baby! That's what we've got going on here. And of course, it's always about this card right here. This is the heart and soul of our strategy. Yes, the big old puppet man. Interesting little things to note here. We're actually playing the triple Brandon and High Spirits. Why is Brandon and High Spirits always just like, some builds will play 3 of it, and then other builds will just yoink it on out. They don't want to see the card. It's just absolute garbage to some people. I always question that. This card is like the most polarizing thing in these builds. You do see the double Brandon in red here as well. Most of the triple Saronir might be a little bit much. I don't have a problem with this personally, but most of these builds I do see will try to push for 1 Saronir with the 1 Lubellion, but this is, honestly, this is fine. It also gives you a chance, like if you do draw it, you have it as an active hand trap, which can get you places here. Actually got the Super Polys built into the main deck here. You do see the Tack Talent with a Thrust as well. I do see that we are playing a little Shaddoll Dragon down here. We're actually, this is kind of ballsy, we're actually side decking the Garua. Looking down here, though, obviously you're going to put more value on the Mud Dragon in the main. And looking at most of this, though, maybe it's 2 Grand Guigon don't really matter all that much. I guess in terms of tech choices, it probably does. I do see here that we have the Destructive Daruma Cannon, Yield Dimensional Barrier. Yeah, this all looks pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. 50 cards is fine. You've got so many of your tech choices in here to be able to handle every sort of situation that you want to see. And that's what you want, right? You want this deck to be able to cover as much ground as it actually can. Good stuff. Honestly, I'm just waiting for a 60 card version to come around and just be the standard of everything good and branded. And then we have the Buster Blader Special. That's right, you know this little guy right here? This thing changes all dragons to defense mode. Dragon monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects. Yes, you already know. If you are scared of Tenpai dragons, this is going to be the, we're going to say the deck for you out here. The fact that, you know, you can just do some stupid stuff. And you also see the Destructive Daruma Cannon coming up here as well. This is another one of those cards that, you know, creating that little lock on your, unaffected cards are going to get pushed off of the field because of the wording on Destructive Daruma Cannon. Thank you. Forcing the player to send them. Unaffected, not a problem. And then, of course, the Prologue and the Destruction Sword. Good stuff here with the Triple Trap Trick to ensure you can get to those. And we also got the Board Breakers here as well. And, of course, you all know how good the little Buster Whelp is here. Outside of that, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with this. I'm very happy to see that Buster Blader did have a fantastic showing, and I'm actually hoping out here that more people will pick up Buster Blader just to have some fun with it. I do think if you've got a very Tenpai heavy locals, this would be a deck that I would want to pick up and just straight have some fun with, you know, and that's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be about. dare I say, fun. Congratulations, everybody out here from the regional. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. And remember, Buster Blader can be meta just like the other decks. You guys have a good rest of your day, alright? Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.